I want to stay away from Bali, and because it's just so hyped there. Bali was beautiful, trust me. But y'all,
She was sweating in Bali.
yeah, go to East Java and hike the Kawah Ijen, also known as Mount Ijen.
I'm Trizzy,
And I'm Leah.
and this is Ticket to Anywhere podcast, bringing you the gear, tools, and tips to equip you for a travel-filled life.
No matter your travel experience or lack thereof, we aim to be your first stop when you're thinking of where to go, how to get there, what to bring, and what to do.
Catch the latest episode every other Wednesday on YouTube or your favorite listening app.
We'd love to connect with you. Find Ticket to Anywhere on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn.
Welcome back to the Ticket to Anywhere podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Trizzy.
And I'm your other co-host, Leah, also known as LA in Flight. And we're a podcast movement, Denver 2023. This is my second podcast movement. This is Trizzy's first podcast movement. We're at the Gaylord Rockies in a beautiful booth, sponsored by Yap Media. And all you have to do is pick a recording time and you can be in the booth with video and audio. So we're like, let's take this opportunity and record an episode of a question we get a ton from friends and family, right? And we're just going to send them this episode. But it's, what are your favorite places you've been to?
Yeah.
A simple question that, because we've traveled so much, kind of gets us boggled up sometimes, So,
Pretty caught off guard because I'm just like, I really can't tell you. Yeah.
and I think like my curated answer would be like, well, every place has something special. And that's true.
Yeah.
Every place does have something special. But if someone was like, you know what, you have 2 seconds to tell me your top 5 places, or your pillow's going to be warm forever, right? When you'll never find a good parking spot ever. You'll never find a close parking spot. Then you're like, So these are the 5 places that we would tell them. And we hope you enjoy this episode as much as we did filming it. It's kind of like another reintroduction to us, because it's a very basic travel question that we don't think about a lot because we're always trying to help you with different kinds of information, right?
Definitely.
But sometimes you just got to go back to basics and be like, oh, yeah,
For
what's
sure.
good,
Yeah.
right?
And I could tell you like Japan, but then a lot of people will say Japan. So I gave you, we gave you a bit of like unique side
100%.
from us. But like I said in the episode, reach out to us if you want more information about the specific locations that we talked about in this episode.
Absolutely. Or what it was like doing what we did in certain places, because we were in certain places for certain things, for certain reasons, whether it was like a working holiday visa or a concert or something like that.
Yeah.
Reach out to us if you want more info. But
For sure.
And all of those travels around the world, we always get to get the coffee and the tea.
Holla.
But today we're drinking Denver local.
Yeah.
Denver local stuff. This is actually just from the Cocoa Bean out there who serves Starbucks. And you know what? It's been a long but incredible week. So I treat myself to a white chocolate mocha with coconut milk. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Starbucks coffee.
Remixed. So iHeart, well, this is just their sleeve, but podcast movement itself, they have coffee and tea stations. So I ran, and of course, I'm not gonna just do a basic Earl Grey tea. I had to sprinkle my own London Fog mix up in there. Yes, they didn't have any vanilla sweetener, so I just put some honey and I put soy milk. They had an alternative milk, which was great.
But it's soy. This is not 2002.
I know they don't have almond, they have soy. But that will do over home.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I got my own made London Fog.
All right. Well, enjoy our top 5 favorite places around the world. Cheers.
Did you see that homestay Celine dropped in the group chat?
Yes, that pool.
Oh my gosh, the backyard in general. Cornhole, that gazebo, a hammock to relax in.
Love the massive kitchen and workspace too. We can just work remotely.
It'll fit 8 of us, right?
Heck yeah, it does.
What's the name of it? And it's in Phoenix?
Yep, Kalani Oasis. I mean, is it time to road trip to Arizona?
Absolutely, let's go. Book Paradise now.
Search for Kalani Oasis on your favorite short-term rental app to reserve today. Hi, Leah here. I just wanted to give you a heads up that Ticket to Anywhere will not be releasing any episodes in the month of December. We are taking the holidays off, so we'll see you back in January. Feel free to listen to any one of our dozens of past episodes while we're cooking up some new ones, and definitely continue to engage with us on social media. Thanks for your support.
So let's go.
All right.
Let's go for real. Let's go. Leah. All right. As you guys know, we are travelers, and one of the few questions we always get, and it's a tough one.
It's tough, but it's so common.
Yeah.
But I think it's so cliche
Mm-hmm.
to get asked that. So we're like, let's make an episode.
Let's make an episode. So the question is, what's your favorite place you've been?
Or what are your top places?
Yeah.
That you've been to? And I'm just like, you know how hard the eyes roll to the back of the head. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. Don't stop asking it.
Mm-hmm.
But, every time you ask it now, we're going to send you this episode.
That's true. Yeah. Or we could just add on to it because we go to a lot of places.
Absolutely.
There's something always new. So,
but for the purpose of this, we narrowed it down to our top 5 on the planet. And we're going to kick off with them. So, Trizzy.
All right. So, my first one, this is not ranked or anything.
Yes, these are not.
It's going to be hard.
These are not in any order. These are just top 5 in general.
Yeah.
Gotta remember that.
Siwa Oasis in Egypt. Oh my gosh. I still dream about visiting there and staying longer. That's my one tip. If you guys are able to go you fly into Cairo, and it is a 9-hour one-way drive out to Siwa Oasis from Giza.
Trek.
Yes. A trek that is so worth it. Yeah. So I went with the tour company called Toritos, Touritos. And it was, exactly, they handed us Doritos. And it was a 2-night, 3-day excursion. But I know of a lot of tour companies where you could customize your tours out there.
Wow.
One in particular is the letter I, Egypt. And I didn't go with them because I had already gone with Toritos.
Okay.
But if you reach out to them, you could say, I want to stay 5 days in Siwa. And they could make something happen. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get out there yourself. I wouldn't recommend renting a car in Egypt because there are a lot of checkpoints along the way.
Yeah.
So go with the trusted tour company, customize it, stay longer. I really wish I stayed longer. It was one of my favorite parts of
How many
the
days
trip.
did you stay again?
2 nights,
Okay.
3 days.
That must
It
have
was-
felt like nothing
It was nothing.
for how much you loved it.
Exactly. It's beautiful because, as you guys might have heard of the Siwan salt lakes out there, beautiful turquoise water, one of the few that you could actually swim in and feel safe. There's no toxicity in there, but just don't get in your eyes for sure. And there's Cleopatra Springs, where it's known that there's a lot of myths around this area, that the Queen Cleopatra went there, swam in it, and then now it's purified. So brides before their wedding days, they would swim in the water to feel like Queen Cleopatra. But the history behind it is really unknown.
Yeah.
There's a Shali fortress, which is made out of mud and the salt lake materials, and it's a fortress to back in the day to protect the Bedouin tribes from attacking Siwa. So just a lot of history. Mountain of Dead, Temple of Oracle, and the sand dunes. So on this particular excursion, 2 nights, 3 days, we first did it sleeping under the stars in the desert, and they fed us in a very unique way where the chicken was cooked under the sand.
Oh, wait, but in something?
They had a tube. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, girl, you be eating sandy chicken.
Crunchy fried chicken.
Crunchy chicken.
Uh-uh.
Some desert
chicken. Yeah. But it was remarkable. I loved it. Loved every moment.
Biggest chicken fan I've ever met in my life right here. So take her word for it.
For sure. It was delicious. The whole experience was great. So like I said, if you can, please stay longer. Everybody is so nice. The vendors do not haggle you. You could look at stuff. They'll walk out of their shop just so you have your time. And when you're ready to pay, you go up to them. You have to find the
the car desk.
So respectful. And they don't speak Arabic there. They speak their own
dialect.
Siwan language called Amazi. It's a Berber part of Berber language.
Okay.
Yeah, and I only learned one word, and it's called let's go. So it's Ohio.
Okay.
Learned that on the sand dunes.
Okay.
Yes. And that's all for Siwa Oasis. I mean, there's more to say. Hit me up. I'll let you know more.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing, how long would you spend there if you go back?
I would spend a full week.
A full week.
I say
There you
5
go.
days, but spend a whole week because it's so relaxing. It's what everybody needs after a very long trip.
Long trekking.
Yeah.
Okay, love it. There you got it. Siwa Oasis for Trizzy.
Yes.
Okay, my first place, the Philippines, man. And I know I'm generalizing an entire country, 7,000 plus islands. One of the national languages is English. So there's not really a language barrier. All of them, a lot of the islands have different languages. But if you did not learn any of the other national language, Tagalog, before going there, don't fret. Everyone speaks English. Slightly different cultures on different islands and in different regions. Like I said, they do speak different languages where you go. Sometimes my family members can't understand each other when they're speaking in different languages. But think of that, 7,000 plus islands to choose from to explore, and they're all quite different. You could get the mountains, the forest, the beach, the jungle, you know, so much different terrain there.
Oh, man, totally agree.
Yeah. Voted some of the best beaches in the world. Look up any Condé Nast Traveler list, Travel and Leisure list. Philippines are always going to be on there.
Yep.
So shout out to them.
Hey.
Right? And it's just, you know, I'm a little biased because my parents are from the Philippines, but I wanted to keep that for the last part.
Know what? I would add that to one of my lists, but you know, we only are talking about 5. But I'm not Filipino.
Even make your top 5.
I mean, that just means that there's so many more places that's remarkable.
Very true.
But I mean, it was a hard pick to not pick that.
I know.
So
it's like, no, I dreamed of I didn't go to the Philippines for like the first 30 years of my life. So when I went, it was a dream, and it literally checked off all the boxes that I can think of.
Yeah.
So those are what I love about it. Those are the reasons you should go. My biggest hot tip for the Philippines is if you go, do not spend less than 2 weeks there, because the time it takes to get there, your body will not even be adjusted. First hot tip. Second hot tip is plan for long boat rides if you're not going to fly between islands. I know some people that'll slow travel, try to budget travel there, but the boat rides are long and bumpy on the ferries.
Yeah.
Flying there is a lot more flying inter-island is a lot more cost efficient, but you know, weigh your options, weigh your time, weigh your money. But the Philippines, people are hesitant. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed, and it will become one of your favorite places if in Asia, if not the world.
100%. And Leah took a Big Dream Boatman.
Yes,
tour, right?
Big Dream Boatman in Palawan, in Coron.
Yeah.
And they're just boat tours. Local operators that take you around the island. Multi-day, multi-night stay boat trips.
Amazing.
So much fun.
Yeah, I have to take one of those tours one of these days.
Yeah. So much fun. And then like all the meals, you know, for you.
All included. They cook for you, all the kuyas, all the wonderful kuyas and ates out there. Oh, man, they take care of you there for sure.
They do.
Just like in Sari Selka. You guys don't know where Sari Selka is, right?
I don't.
It's like northern Finland, like where Lapland is around. So we also have a full episode on my trip to Finland.
Yes, we do. Check it out.
But I just have to reiterate how great Sari Selka was. And it's funny because Siwa was peaceful, Sari Selka was peaceful. So I'm on this peaceful journey right
And you
now.
went through like 2 very different terrains.
Yes.
Like the desert, now you're in the snow.
Exactly.
Almost
yes. November is when I went, and yes, it was snowing. But it was perfect because when we were traveling there, it wasn't snowing just yet. Probably on our 3rd day, it just started downpouring, increasing the levels of the snow. So it was just magical.
Wow.
On top of that, the Northern Lights, I got to see it. Stay as long as you can there, specifically in Sari Selka, to catch the Northern Lights. If you're doing like those 2-night trips, and you'll get lucky if you see it, but most of the time, that's not enough to chase the Northern Lights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tip.
And, you know, they have the Arctic sauna that you could go to.
Ooh,
I went to specifically this little town called Kilopa. It's a place called Suomen Latu. They have an Arctic sauna there, and it's an ice plunge. So it's like it's not a river, a natural lake. So you just walk outside, there's snow, and it was the time when it was snowing.
Wow.
Magical feeling, ice cold. I think I was only able to get in there for about 10, 15 seconds. And then you just hop your way on. Yeah, hop your way on into the sauna. That is their pharmacy, you know.
Okay.
That's the natural pharmacy.
The natural, oh man. And you know, as you remember a couple weeks ago, we just released a medicine bag episode.
Yes.
So try to go through natural remedies first.
Yes.
And then take medicine and pills if we need to. But a sauna and a natural pool.
I have to say, when I came back from Finland, drank all their water just straight from the tap, my skin was like amazing for a year, but then I didn't go back or after a year, and my skin is just like back to how it was before.
You need some of that magical water healing power again.
Of course. Yeah. And if you guys like cross-country skiing, they have a really cool national park out there. It's like the Kekkonen and Kekkonen. There's like a Finnish way of saying it.
Oh, okay.
But it's a national park out there. We went snowshoeing, but we also saw cross skiing there.
Oh.
Cross-country skiing. I was like, I want to try that next time.
Cross-country. You would try cross-country
But I haven't even skied before, so I'll just be like, my legs will just be like this.
Should be breakdancing on the slopes across the country.
Yeah, but I mean, just a few tips I would say is just stay as long as you can, at least 5 days if you're chasing the Northern Lights. The airport closest to where we stayed at, Northern Lights Village, amazing stay, by the way. They have excursions that you could do, snowmobile, husky riding.
It's a lot. It's a lot of activities.
Exactly.
I love that.
The airport is Ivalo, Ivalo Airport, and I believe it was like a 30-minute drive in snow from the airport to our hotel. And our hotel was right across the street from the town where we would go, and there's a market. Yeah, there's like restaurants there. There's even Santa's office there. If you want to see,
I'm not gonna lie. I love that you had such a great time. I am not a snow person, y'all. So I don't know that I could ever do it. To be honest,
right?
Like,
it was freezing. Yeah.
Well, wait. This sounds silly, but during the summer, is it like there's no snow?
There's no snow. There is a lot of mosquitoes, they say. So,
but y'all know I'm the queen of preventing mosquito bites.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes, you are. So you should go there during the summer.
Okay.
You know how it is.
Cover up. Okay.
Yeah, you can visit the reindeers during for free too. At least from my hotel, and they give you like this jumpsuit that will help keep you warm and boots.
So cute. I can't believe they wait, you don't have to rent it out or pay for it?
No, it's part
awesome.
of it. Yeah. And breakfast and dinner is part of it. Northern Lights Village. Lunch you have to go out and eat, which I would say things are pretty expensive up there. It's a small town. A lot of things are imported.
Yeah.
So but it was cool. We had a nice igloo cabin, glass igloo and stuff. So sorry, Selka. Thank you so much. I miss you.
I love it. We're going to change gears real hard here. And one of my favorite places in the world, actually, we're not changing that hard just yet. One of my favorite places, Melbourne, because Melbourne, Australia, it was my home from 2017 to 2018. I did a working holiday visa that certain nationalities can do. Americans can do it if you're under the age of 30. I was under the age of 30 at the time. All you had to do was not be a felon and be able to pay almost $500 to get into the country. And then you had 12 months to work and or travel.
So that's how much a work visa costs?
Yeah, it was like $400 at the time, but I'm sure with inflation, the prices have come up. But the visa for a year, But I mean, you're working. Think of like when people come to the U.S. and how much they have to pay to become like legal to work here.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. And so it's Australia. I thought that was quite reasonable, right?
Right. Okay.
And if you want a second year of like freedom of working and travel, you have to do 88 days of farm work after you complete your first year. I didn't do that. I left after 1 year, not because I wanted to, just because I had obligations back home. Right. But Melbourne, man, it is known as the city with 4 seasons in a day, which, like I just said, I'm not a big fan of seasons. I actually just like weather. Yeah. But a big thing about it is that people love that. There's going to be 4 seasons throughout the year, if not 4 throughout the day. So kind of just be prepared to wear, dress in layers. But the city is a cultural hub for entertainment, for finance, for media, for art, for culture. I loved it. And I felt that even being from LA, like Melbourne captured all of that as well. And it captured like the spirit of also New York and San Francisco while still having green space, while still having suburbs that you could roam around, while still being close to seeing the penguins on the peninsula, while still being an hour away from wine country as well. So I actually visited because everyone I had met from Melbourne on my travels never said a bad word about it. Or I didn't visit. I didn't even visit. I just moved there. But everyone that I know that lived in Sydney always had something to say to trash Sydney. And I'm like, why would I move there if y'all don't even like living in Sydney? But I never had anyone say a bad thing about Melbourne.
Interesting.
Their public transportation, well, for us coming from LA, their public transportation was elite. They even have some, oh no, that's not Melbourne. But they're working on expanding the public transportation. They have trains, trams, and buses. I used all of them. So you can get out to the suburbs that way. There was always a festival, a fair happening, arts and music happening around the city. Many of them were free as well. Wow. And because of the great public transportation, you don't need a car. I didn't have a car there, but they also drive on the opposite side of the road from Americans. So I didn't really want to learn because I knew I was only going to be there for like at least a year. But with the availability of public transportation, you don't need to learn. But the fact that the festival celebrated so much, you know, it was so inspiring to go out every week and have something to do in the beautiful green open spaces and utilize that.
That's cool.
And yeah, it's a cool city. It's a hip city. It's a forward city. I was very proud to be living there for a year. I knew within the first week, I knew I had made the right decision because people will compare Sydney and Melbourne, the two biggest cities in Australia, and say, oh, Sydney is great. You could be on boats in the harbor and it's sunny all the time. Well, guess what? We're from Southern California. We get that in LA.
Yes, it is.
Sorry, not sorry. I mean, yes, that's a little privilege, but I was like, you know what? I could do something different because I come home to beaches and sun and boats. And Melbourne is just the downtown area, the CBD, Central Business District. One of my hottest tips is don't forget to explore like the cool alleyways, the art, the speakeasies, the hidden bars, the hidden restaurants.
Love those.
Like I was there for a year. I felt like I didn't even scratch the surface, you know?
Right.
And it's a big city, so things are coming in and out, but I think they're very, very proud of the culture that they've built there.
That's awesome.
And I don't feel that they're as stuck up as some other cities. Yeah. That's why I was very proud of my decision to move and live there for a year, and I would go back in a heartbeat. I haven't visited since I moved away, but I'm planning to very soon. So Melbourne, Australia, can't beat it.
So you said 4 seasons in a day?
Yeah, sometimes it's a little crazy.
That might be hard for me because I'm one of those who don't like layering up. If I know it's hot,
you're good at it. You have the equipment.
I do, but I hate carrying it.
Oh.
Let's say it's going to be cold in the morning and then like warm in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that I have to take off my sweater, carry it around with me.
I recommend, I'm like simple. You can do the Heat Tech long sleeve.
Love those.
With a windbreaker waterproof jacket. And I think that'll still be enough because it's not like the temp drops to like freezing.
Yeah.
It drops to like 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
But if you're wearing a Heat Tech and it's hot, you're just going to be...
But you just roll up the sleeve.
Fried chicken. How many times are we going to reference fried chicken?
Yeah. But yes, I mean, it's only every once in a while. I think there's a song, I can't remember who sings it. We'll try to insert it here, but there is a song about the city of Melbourne, and it's called like 4 Seasons in a Day.
Oh,
famous
nice.
One. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, speaking of layers, my next spot is where I had to layer up a lot. It's at Pinnacles National Park. Ooh. It is one of the youngest national parks because I believe Obama created or signed like paperwork for them to be considered a national park in 2012 or something. Very recent.
Oh, like 11 years.
Yes.
I thought it was actually younger than that. I thought it was like 5 or 6 years old.
I'm going to have to fact check, but I feel like that's...
So it's one of the youngest, though. That's a big deal.
It's a baby, and it's lovely. So it's located in California, like central-ish.
Closest, biggest cities, I would say, are Carmel and Monterey Bay.
There you go.
In Northern California.
Yeah.
There we go.
You know, there's just... It's quiet. It's underrated. There's not a lot of people there. There's a campground with a swimming pool.
Wait, like a man-made swimming pool?
Yeah, man-made swimming pool.
That's great.
Yeah. So
that's new.
Yeah. So we did one night there. Not enough because you want to. Well, I guess it's such a small park. You can do it in just like one day. Okay. Or like 1.5 days, I would say.
Enjoy. Well, why not spread it over 2 days if you can, you know?
There's 2 different entrances. So keep in mind that they don't have a road that you could drive from one entrance to the next entrance within the park. You really have to go out of the east entrance and then drive all the way around the park to enter into the west entrance. I believe that's what they call it. But still, it's fine because they each have their own very special hiking trails. Balconies Cave is a talus cave trail. Talus means that it's just these mountain rock piles formed into a cave. So you're walking under these talus caves, and there's waterfalls sometimes during a particular season. And on the other side of the entrance, we did a 6-mile hike. This is where the layering comes in. Early in the morning, the Bear Gulch Day Use area is where we parked at, where we started. We used that up until the Condor Gulch. And you'll be able to see condors around. They're kind of like these birds that flies, or like turkey-like or something. They have like these red things on their neck.
Oh, gobbles.
Yeah.
Gobbles.
And so you just go onto the high peaks where there's climbing or rock scrambling involved, and these chain ropes so you don't fall off. But the views are spectacular. All the pinnacles. You get like the jagged rocks. You get the actual rounded rocks too. And then you make your way down. And also at the top, there's a toilet there.
Oh,
yeah.
That's very thoughtful.
Yes. Toilet with the view.
Yeah.
So you walk down and then you get to the Bear Gulch Reservoir, which is this gorgeous lake where you could have your lunch there, rest for a little bit until you finish like the rest of your trail. Through another talus cave with more waterfalls, and it's just so underrated.
Yeah,
I want
to brand new.
I want to keep it that way, but I also just want to hype it up because I think it just deserves the hype.
Yeah, and now thousands of you are gonna go visit it after this episode.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but my biggest tip for you for this national park is, and for all national park, is always check their websites for updates on the status of trails, driving conditions, and everything. Something like
entry requirements, if you need to reserve time, that type of stuff. Things you can and cannot bring into the park, that type of stuff, right?
Definitely. Yeah. For Pinnacles, at the time that I went was January 2022. There was no timed entry required. Could be the same, but yeah, go check it out. Pinnacles National Park.
There we go. Yeah. I love that. Okay, now we're really going to switch gears. And if you've listened to one of our earlier episodes, actually one of our most popular episodes of all time, you'll know that I backpacked for 1 year through South America. My job in Vegas was eliminated, so I took that time I'd always wanted to travel. I wanted to backpack South America. I wanted to use my Spanish minor. So I did a year in different countries, and right in the smack dab in the middle of that year, I took 3 months and I went to Colombia, baby. And Colombia is one of my top 5 places in the world. And now Colombia gets a very, very interesting rap. I'd say I'm going to put my biggest tip first is that really lean into the culture and talking to the locals and talking about their feelings and their hopes for the future and what they're planning to do, because Colombia does not want to be known by its Pablo Escobar past. Just like Germany does not want to be known by its Hitler past, Colombia is the same. They're moving forward. They're one of the most forward-thinking countries in South America now, with the technology that they're implementing to become more sustainable, eco-friendly, how they're opening up tourism to foreigners as well. The cheap flights between, the U.S. and Colombia are making it pretty accessible for people to jump into any major airport and take a flight down there, immigration between the two countries, etc. But I spent 3 months there using Medellin as a home base. Medellin is known as a city of eternal spring because the weather is always between like 70 and 80 degrees.
That sounds lovely.
It's beautiful. And it's like in a valley.
Okay.
So there's a lot of terrain around it. You can go up into the mountains and rent a cabin. There's a lot of cute little fincas, which are like farms.
Okay.
Kind of like, farm homestays. They're stunning, right? A lot of like Spanish architecture as well, because as you know, most of South America was conquered by the Spaniards back in the day. But all kinds of terrain from anywhere you can visit in Colombia, from the desert to the beach to the jungle, on all corners of the country. Desert, beach, jungle, coffee triangles, one of my favorite places in Colombia. It's near Salento, which is halfway between Medellin and Cali. And the drive from Medellin to Cali on a bus is about 8 hours. So imagine like very small town coffee triangle right in the middle. And it's one of my favorite places. It's so small. They have the Valle de Cocora, which is the highest palm trees in the world, 200 feet tall. Beautiful. You can go hike around there, which is what I did. Another one-off little random tip, because I lived there for 3 months and because at that time I had been away from home for about 6 months, import laws are a little bit different. So you'll find a lot more American products or products that you're used to versus the rest of South America. I know that sounds weird, but it came from 6 months in Buenos Aires, where they're really like, I mean, back then in 2016, there were like no American products, right? That's
You're slaying sriracha
I
at
was
that time, right?
sriracha and like mascara, etc.
You could still slang sriracha because apparently it's $20 a bottle now.
Yeah. It's way too expensive, but you can find the comforts of home in Colombia if you need to. I would suggest, leaning more into the local culture, but if you need to, you can. Who doesn't love salsa dancing? Salsa dancing is cheap and easy to learn there. You can get lessons for free or you can pay for them for really, a really affordable price. The sun is usually out in Colombia. The people are warm, like it reflects, their personality reflects from the sun. The people are friendly. If you try to speak a little bit of Spanish, they're very, very happy and proud that you do it. As with any country, go try to learn their language. Their Spanish is also considered pretty neutral. So if you want to take Spanish lessons there, you absolutely should because, it's more affordable. Dollar goes a bit further there. They're building it up. They're well built for tourism at this point. Maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they weren't. But at this point, they are. And I just recommending learning as much Spanish as you can so you can connect with the locals. But it's such a diverse company. It's such a diverse country, and it's a good introduction to South America, to be honest.
Okay.
So I always recommend Colombia to anyone that wants to visit South America. I think it's a good first country to visit down there.
Nice. Because it's at the bottom, Medellin is at the bottom of the valley. Is it hot always?
No.
Okay.
It's a city of eternal spring, so their weather's always between 70 and 85 degrees, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Comfortable. Very comfortable.
But it is in a valley, but it's just perfect weather all the time.
Yeah. Oh, look, we have a groupie out there. Alexis. Okay, so this one is probably one of my most recent trips that I had in Indonesia. I was like, I want to stay away from Bali, and because it's just so hyped there. Bali was beautiful, trust me. But y'all,
She was sweating in Bali.
Yeah, go to East Java and hike the Kawah Ijen, also known as Mount Ijen. It is this volcano crater lake hike that I did. Really a pain to get there. So our trip, we booked through Como Bali Tour, and it was the cheapest for private. I forgot what the price was. So we got picked up at 10 p.m. prior. It's a 6-hour drive one way. So 4 hours from Ubud to the harbor. We take a 1-hour ferry.
Ooh.
And then from the ferry that landed us in East Java, going up to base camp is another hour drive.
Wow.
So it's a lot of logistics to it. And Como Bali Tour, they really took care of us.
Great.
Props to them.
That.
Yeah, I'm gonna link them in the description and put up their info here. But the hike it's very steep. I would say moderate. Not too short.
Okay.
About 2.3 miles. And we started around 4 a.m. The temperature was cold. Obviously, you're a little bit higher in elevation, but as you keep hiking, you warm up. You got to take it off. My goodness. Layering.
Her layers.
Yeah.
How did you do on that hike that you hate layers so much?
I mean, I was struggling because I also had my gimbal with me and camera.
Like the
my
full
gear,
gimbal?
Full gimbal, yeah.
You just want to take your Insta360?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Insta360 is kind of bad in low light.
Oh.
So once the sun comes up, it's fine to use.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wanted
good
to
tip
capture. Yeah,
for
there you
those
go.
considering it.
For
Yeah.
sure. I'm using the Sony A7 III. So you could do it on your own if you're staying out in Java on East Java side. You just pay the entrance fee, and I believe the entrance fee is about $7 USD
Okay.
to go into it. You can't get lost. The path is very paved and it's maintained, so you'll be able to see. And if you start around the same time as like tourists, tour companies and guides, just follow them. And they offer people to push you up in a wagon. And I'm like, how are you?
Did you see anybody?
Yes, well, we saw somebody going down with it.
Oh,
No, it's like,
can't you just let them roll?
they're about to
all
all over.
True. That's true.
But like, think of like the knees and the impact.
I cannot.
Okay.
I cannot.
We cannot talk about the knees. But speaking of the hard work, like once you get up there, it's sulfur. It's very acidic. They used to allow you to check out the blue flame in the middle of the night. So before hikes would start at 2 a.m. So you can make it in time before sun rises and see the blue flames, which is like the air blowing against the sulfur, and then it creates this fire, blue flame fire. You can't go down there anymore because of how toxic it is per the government. However, they still have sulfur miners walking up and down,
Okay.
carrying about like
Gosh,
70 pounds of sulfur.
that's wild.
And it's insane. And they make it, they sculpt it into different products. It could be in soap. It could be just like a regular decor if you want it to be. But after they bring up 70 pounds, they go do it again. They bring home about like $15 a day or something. It's gorgeous once you get up there. Like
there you go.
the water, the acidic lake is turquoise blue. I was really tempted to swim in it, but you can't. It's too hot.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna be fried chicken.
Chicken. There you go.
Gotta squeeze that
Number
in there.
3.
Exactly. So it's a overnight tour. You sleep in the car as you go there and as they bring you back to Bali. Very tiring for the body. We did it maybe our 3rd day in Bali. We were able to recover right away because of all the spas available there. But I would say go out of Bali, check out Java.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That's a really good tip because people only know Indonesia for Bali.
Right.
It's true. Or like Komodo Island.
Yeah. Komodo.
That's about it, right?
Mhm.
Okay, actually not straying too far from Southeast Asia. We got Thailand, which I'm sure everyone can agree. Now, Trizzy's been very, very specific in the places she's visited. I've been pretty general, but it's because I have a lot to say about all of these places.
Definitely.
Thailand, I think, hands down, and I hosted a panel a few months ago on solo travel, right? Everyone agreed it was a unanimous decision that Thailand was literally the best first country to go to if you're a solo traveler for the first time, especially a solo woman traveling alone. Thailand is a wonderful, wonderful country. The people are just so considerate. They're so polite. They're very soft-spoken. They're generous, right? And they're very helpful at the same time, right? As I've said with many of the countries that I've mentioned, Thailand also has many, many different terrains, many cultures. The north, even from the south, is very, very different because the cuisine in the north gets a little bit spicier, gets a little bit different, and some influences from different countries in the north. Whereas the further south you go, it's more like beach territory, island territory. And it's just a little bit different from how the north is. So I think that's really cool that you can kind of encounter different cultures going across, the entire country. But like I said, it's pretty easy. There's buses, there's flights to be able to take you anywhere. The buses are quite long. They're like sleeper overnight buses. Journeys can sometimes take up to 30 hours. So I recommend, especially if you're in a time crunch, just take the 1 hour, 2 hour flight. But some cities, like if you're going from, say, Chiang Mai to Pai is a little town in the countryside that's like a couple hours out of Chiang Mai. You can take those. They have tour vans that run like 14 people in the van. That only takes a couple hours, and that's highly recommended, and it's pretty affordable as well. But your dollar goes much further in Thailand, and oh my gosh, I know every single one of you has been to a Thai restaurant if you're in the States, right? But imagine having Thai food in Thailand on the street for a tenth of the price that you have it, and it's even better. Better. It's straight from the source.
Right. Fresh veggies.
Mango sticky rice for like $1.50. Girl, I've paid $17 for mango sticky rice in California.
Same.
It broke my heart. It broke my heart so much. Me and my sister are dedicated to learn. We're going to make it at home.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm not paying $17. You could feed a family twice
Yeah.
for $17 in Thailand.
I mean, Asia Scenic, they in their menu.
Yes, Asia Scenic.
Yeah.
Definitely from that. Okay, big tip also, Asia Scenic, and I told Trizzy to go there, is probably one of the best and biggest cooking schools in Southeast Asia. And it is in Chiang Mai. So if you're ever out in Chiang Mai, look up Asia Scenic. They make it fun. You could do a half day. You could do a full day. Sometimes they include the farmer's market trips with it. But it's like a cooking class, and it's fantastic.
I love it. They give you a cooking book. And, you know, I have several cooking books that people have gifted me, but I don't look through those. The only ones that I look through is the Asia Scenic one.
Awesome. And I guess my last tip for Thailand, we've done a whole entire episode on Thailand because Trizzy and I have both been, so you can go check that out. But my biggest tip is there's more to Thailand than just partying and the full moon parties on the islands in the south. Really get to know the food culture, the culture of the people, their way of life, you know, how they fit into the Southeast Asian and the Asian economy in general. And you know, I feel that you could stay out there for months and months and months on end. It's just top-notch country, especially if you're traveling alone for the first time, Thailand.
Nice. Speaking of traveling alone, the next one that I have is Bath in the United Kingdom. Yes, and I traveled there recently in March.
You're gonna die of my last one.
I went to London, my first solo trip internationally.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with Bath because once you get there, it's about an hour and a half train ride from London.
Okay,
Paddington.
direct from Paddington Station. This is important.
Yeah, from Paddington Station. There's like a few stops, but it's quick stops. You know, they
cool.
drop off people go.
You better run off that. Run off that train.
But I went as early as I could because I wanted to get to the Thermae Bath Spa.
Oh yeah,
so I could, you know,
like be the first in it.
Be one of the first few. But there was already a line when they started opening at 9 a.m.
Okay,
at 9 a.m.
Yeah, and like the DMV. You gotta get
and this spa is a lot of locals use it too.
Oh, okay.
Like it's their way. It's their fitness center, their recovery center and stuff. It's not a fitness center. It's more just like there's different saunas you can go to. There's a warm pool at the rooftop. So you have this view of Bath while you're in this warm pool. And I went in March when it was like gloomy, rainy and stuff. And there was like a little bit of snow falling at that time.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And like there's an ice chamber. There's infrared saunas. There's a Cosmo room where you're laying down on marble. And it's just like lights that resembles stargazing.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful. About $40 per person. Definitely worth it, but you have a limit of just 2 hours. Yeah. You can't take cell phones in with you once you check in.
Cameras, nothing.
Or cameras, nothing.
Okay.
Only if you're pressed. Once you enter, they're going to have you put it in a sleeve that locks.
Okay. Good luck getting that open. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And then afterwards I eat. Everybody eats after a spa. You get hungry because all of the heat and all the cold plunging that you do. I walked to Sally Lunn's Kitchen Museum. Really cool. It's a unique style of bun that you eat, and there's like a savory and the sweet version. I had a savory veggie. You would have loved it. It's like this thick cut brioche type of texture, and they just put like pesto sauce on it and a whole bunch of like roasted vegetables on it. Sally Lunn's buns is really good. And then in their basement, after you're done eating, you could check out like their kitchen museum. Is how they made their buns back in the day, just like brick oven and old school style.
Nice.
Really cool. You could even buy like a mixture to bring home.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And after that, if you're trying to digest, there's a free walking tour that I found. I forgot which website hosted it because I found it on like the Bath City website. So I used it, and it was a great walk all the way out to the Cleveland pools, through canals where you get to see like houseboats, those long houseboats. And I was just like, man, this place is so safe, so fun. You really feel like you're surrounded back in the day with castles and like Bridgerton. I don't watch it, but I know Bridgerton. I shot there.
Yeah, wouldn't watch it.
Got there. And just a whole bunch of like things to do. And then after you do your walking tour, you'll get back into like the city of Bath. and visit the Roman Bath Museum, where you see like the OG Roman bath there. And that was pretty expensive, $35 per person. Yeah, but worth it. I mean, you're there already. Why not just do what?
Why not just spend the money?
Yeah. And you'll see locals there in the spot, at the museum, roaming around. Please be respectful.
Love it.
Don't be obnoxious.
Yeah. Not in Bath.
Not in
Oh my gosh. Okay, you're gonna cackle because my final and favorite place in the world is London.
Oh.
And Trizzy doesn't like London. She's not a fan.
I didn't have a great experience.
Yeah, she didn't have a great experience. So if you know me, if you've been following like the LA and Flight brand and you see the differences between us, you know that I love big cities. I love nature. I love small towns. I love nature, or, places out in the woods and on the beach and the mountains. But I also love big cities. And I feel that the travel community sometimes is so judgmental against big cities. And I'm like, okay, except like cities is like, it's the center of everything. They're big cities for a reason because you can find everything there.
Yeah.
So what I love about London is that, yeah, you can take a train ride to a place like Bath and still come back to a big city that has literally everything. You can take train rides to Manchester, Birmingham. You can take train rides to other countries like within the UK.
Yeah.
It's so easy. The modes of transportation are frequent. They're abundant. The underground is one of the best public transportation systems on the planet.
It was great, yeah.
Yeah, and now you don't even have an Oyster card to tap in London. You can just tap with your own credit cards.
That was so key.
Absolutely. And if you have cards that get you, like my Amex Green card gets me triple times points on travel, including public transport. That's massive.
Yeah.
So if y'all want into the Amex Green, I'll link a referral link in the notes. But right. I love London. I've been there 3 times. My first time was for Mayweather Pacquiao fight back in 2015. I had just come off a European tour, and I spent another 6 days. European tour. I sound like an artist. Spent another 6 days in London. The Princess was born. It was a lot of fun. I got to know it on my own. Stayed in a hostel. Second time I went there was for like 4 days. Before and after Glastonbury Music Festival in the summer of 2019, and I was there with 2 of my best friends, and it was just so much fun getting to see the city again 4 years later. Last time I went was November 2021.
Yes.
We did a whole episode on this. I spent 3 weeks working and living in London, being like a local. I didn't go anywhere else. I saw my friends as much as I could. I posted up in a co-working office, got to know neighborhoods like Brixton, Peckham, Shoreditch.
Nice.
Some of my favorite neighborhoods. Got to go to smaller places around town that tourists wouldn't normally go to.
Yeah.
So for me, there's nature within the city, but the city also has everything you need: arts, entertainment, culture, finance, restaurants, places to visit, places to shop, places, food festivals, places to take your family and friends, places to relax. A lot of great workout classes too. I was spinning a lot when I was there.
Yeah.
So the weather may not be the greatest all the time, but I'm not going to lie, the 3 random times I've been there, the weather has been no rain.
I had a nice day.
Okay, so maybe it's just people from California. Y'all need us over there in London, FYI. I think, go ahead.
They have a World History Museum that's free.
Yeah.
A natural history museum that's free.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Hit it up. There's a lot of museums in London. But I think my biggest tip, if you're going to fly to Europe from the U.S., or especially the West Coast, fly into London first and then fly where you need to fly, because it's always going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
So buy 2 separate flights. I think that's one of my biggest tips.
For sure.
Yeah.
And if you're going out to Bath, I would say, going back to Bath, sorry, I forgot this one tip. Spend overnight. Don't do a day trip.
Yeah,
I really wish I stayed out there. There was a peak that I did make it up to, but I just wanted to stay longer and not be rushed. And they have boba there.
Oh, all right. That's good.
That's right.
All right.
So that was our list. 5 places each. So you guys have 10 places to consider.
Heck yes. And we want to hear where you go. We want to hear your favorite places. If you agree with any of us, or if you have any, or if you agree with any of them, or if you have any questions about any of them, you know where to find us.
For real. Add your favorite place in the comments below. Thanks for listening, guys, to the Tickets Anywhere podcast. Until the next episode.
This is Trizzy at Triz Inc.
This is Leah at LA and Flight.
To find even more travel tips on budgeting, destinations, and our favorite items, sign up for our monthly newsletter, The Check-In, linked in the show notes or description.
This is the Ticket to Anywhere podcast. Thanks for listening.